This week on Healthy Living, what causes a stroke in young people? We'll have some answers. Northern Mozambique struggles with an increase of strokes among the youth. And Ghana has rolled out a HIV self-testing kit. Plus, scientists have developed a device stimulating an immune response to fight cancer. These stories and more in this edition of Healthy Living. Hello and welcome to Healthy Living. I'm Linor Moudou. A stroke, also known as a brain attack, happens when blood flow to a section of the brain is blocked or when a blood vessel in the brain bursts. This leads to damage or death of brain cells, resulting in potential long-term disability, brain damage, or even death. Strokes are common among adults. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the chance of having a stroke about doubles every 10 years after age 55. However, many people younger than 65 years also have strokes. Experts say a stroke is on the rise globally among young people and can occur for reasons such as obesity, high blood pressure, and diabetes. Authorities in the northern part of Mozambique say cases of stroke in young people are increasing in the largest health unit in the country, with an average of 18 new patients with the condition per week in May alone. Adina Swalehe reports from Nampula in this story narrated by Barbara Santos.
In 2021, at the age of 19, Jacobi Mario was diagnosed with a stroke, a disease that impacted his speech, hand and foot movements, and also changed his life and forced him to leave behind one of his biggest dreams, majoring in engineering. The young man's hope lies in the physiotherapy sessions he has been doing weekly at the Nampula's Central Hospital.
I had thrombosis in 2021. Since then I've been treating it. I have difficulty moving my hand. I cannot play, run.
In the physiotherapy gymnasium of the Nampula Central Hospital, it is common to see young people seeking treatment for complications after strokes. Jamal Assani is a patient who was diagnosed with a stroke 3 months ago.
I started having health problems, fevers and headaches, and I was hospitalized here at the Central Hospital for 5 days. Then they discharged me and I went home. And when I got home, I had this relapse. It happened 3 months ago, and I had other problems that I had to fight against first, which didn't make me want to eat or do anything. I had problems using the restroom. So I had to start fighting these things with physiotherapy.
In Nampula, northern Mozambique, the number of young patients with stroke cases has increased recently, according to authorities. Between January to March, 55 people who had a stroke were admitted to the Nampula Central Hospital. Since then, the number of those diagnosed has only increased. In the last 3 days of May, 18 new cases arrived at the unit. The spokesman for Nampula Central Hospital, Frederico Sebastião, says people with hypertension or with a history of the disease in their family should check their blood pressure and diabetes for prevention.
Most of the patients who came here didn't even know they were hypertensive. And when they come to the hospital and we see it was a stroke, they found out that they are hypertensive or that they have diabetes. So our first request is that everyone with hypertension, diabetes, or who has a family member with this pathology should go to the nearest health center for a checkup. And for those who have the disease, treatment must be done in order to avoid it. We have alarming numbers.
Sebastião warns that the consumption of alcohol and illicit drugs, smoking, and some sexually transmitted diseases, including HIV and AIDS, are risk factors for stroke. For Adina Swalehe in Nampula, Mozambique, Barbara Santos, VOA News.
What are your thoughts about strokes among young people? Do you know the signs of a stroke and what to do if you are around someone who's having a stroke? Here are some reactions from Morocco.
Strokes are cardiovascular arrests, in fact, heart disease, a kind of heart attack.
It's heart disease, that's all I know.
If the patient faints and falls, you must put him or her in the lateral safety position, LSP, and then call the fire department or emergency services. Those who have received first aid training, such as myself, and I'm certified, can do cardiac massages in the event of a cardiac arrest. Each stroke is different. There are strokes that can lead to death, others can cause paralysis. The best solution is to call the emergency services.
Call the ambulance or paramedics when you see a problem.
First, strokes are cardiovascular arrests, and I think they happen a lot to people who are older.
The signs of a stroke start with high blood pressure, which affects the brain and can paralyze the leg, foot, and the left hand. At the time of the attack, the victim has respiratory problem. I'm not a doctor. There's nothing I can do in case of an emergency.
I think young people don't do sports anymore, and I think it's a reason for strokes. It is also inherited.
Dr. Amina Haruna Butare is a neurologist at the National Hospital in Abuja, Nigeria. She explains what is causing strokes in young people and shares some tips.
There are two types. We have the hemorrhagic stroke. It's not usually common. And we also have the ischemic stroke. Ischemic stroke accounts for about 85% of stroke, while the hemorrhagic stroke accounts for 15% of stroke in the general population. Stroke in the young, that's the terminology we use to describe it. It's becoming commoner now because we have hypertension early in young people. You see a young person as young as 30, 24 having hypertension. You see, and you can also have diabetes at a young age because of our lifestyle, eating habits. Not exercising or moving frequently. We're always sitting down, sedentary, like watching TV, watching our phones, our computers. We can also have increased cholesterol level, use of drugs like heroin, cocaine, amphetamine. Patients usually have stroke from that. Another thing is cigarette smoking. Hemorrhagic stroke is when the vessel breaks and there's bleeding into the brain. Is the commonest, about 50 to 85% of the young people that come with stroke in the young have hemorrhagic stroke. Every person by the time you're 30 years of age should always get a fasting lipid profile, that's the cholesterol checkup. Check your BP at least every month. There's nothing wrong in doing it. Every 2 weeks if you can do that, if you have family history. If you have diabetes, every month or every 3 months, always check your sugar and a test we call HbA1c. It shows how long the sugar has been there in your blood for over 3 months. So every 3 months, just go and do a HbA1c. That will go a long way in preventing you from having these diseases. Check your HIV status if you don't know. And then their lifestyle. That's one of the most important things. Reduce time on your TV, on your computer, on your phones. Get up, take a walk at least 5 times a week for 30 minutes. Make sure the walk is consistent, rigorous, not too fast, not too slow, but something that will make you sweat. For those that have maybe you say leg pain or something, there are other forms of exercises you can do sitting down or in a position that will help you lose weight. Diet, food. You need to cut down salt intake. You need to eat less carbohydrate, more of protein diet, less of oil and fats in diet, more vegetables, fruits. So these are things that we want you to do to prevent it when it comes to the diet, the lifestyle. Then for secondary prevention, there are medications we give. For example, if a patient has a kidney disease or a heart disease, he is predisposed to having a stroke. So he needs to be on some drugs to prevent that stroke from happening.
Ghana has launched a self-testing kit program for HIV. The initiative aims to provide individuals with the convenience and privacy to check their HIV status at all times. Observers say this is a game changer in the fight against HIV/AIDS in Ghana, as it empowers people to take action on the personal level. We asked residents in Accra to share their reactions to the HIV self-testing kit.
It's really nice, because when the time of corona, I think you have to go to hospital before you get tested to see if, indeed, you have the disease. But right now that they have the test tube, like the one that we use to test for pregnancy, I think it will help. Because you test it wherever you are, wherever you are, in your homes, at work, anywhere. You just enter where they sell those things, pharmacy or anywhere that you find some, you just get it and then get tested to see if it's positive or negative.
With this initiative, I think it saves time, one, and then two, confidentiality is very important. You know, some people wouldn't want their results to come out after the test. At first, we used to go to the hospital, then the doctor would take some blood out from you by pin, and then you wait for the results and all that. But this time, I'm explaining in terms of the time saving. The time saving, you wouldn't have to go to the hospital to queue, but rather you go to the pharmacy, get the item, test yourself.
So far as I have the tube in my house, I will do it. Yeah, definitely.
People have their own privacy, whereby they wouldn't go to the hospital and go and check. For them to maybe feel maybe out of shock or something, maybe people will tag them with maybe they're having HIV or something. So I feel like it will make them have their own privacy and then maybe check out their comfort of their home and then know how to go about it. So I think it's fine. It's fine.
Now, scientists at the University of California, Los Angeles, have come up with a device that may one day be an alternative to chemotherapy for treating cancer. Genia Dulotas has the report.
When she was pursuing her education, bioengineer Negin Majidi became convinced that advances in immunotherapy would one day allow doctors to treat cancer effectively.
You could actually recruit body's immune cells and work on body's natural capability of being able to clear the tumor in order to get rid of the cancer cells. So that was super exciting for me.
Iranian-born Majidi and her bioengineer husband, Mahdi Hassani, are now part of an interdisciplinary team of medical and engineering researchers at the University of California, Los Angeles. The group has developed SymphNote, a tiny biodegradable sponge-like device about the size of a pencil eraser. Made of a polymer called alginate, the device is implanted or injected into a tumor. From there, it releases a drug that generates a better immune response than the body can do on its own, according to the researchers.
It's like a local training gym. So it will bring the cells and they'll train them. So when they are leaving the device, they are so ready to go and fight the local tumor.
The idea, says UCLA immunology professor Manish Butte, who mentored Majidi during her research, is to block the regulatory T cells that police cancer-fighting killer T cells.
This really opens up an avenue for having the immune system attack all kinds of cancers, not just breast cancers, but every kind of solid tumor.
SymphNote has been tested on mice with breast cancer, showing tumors shrinking in 80% of mice and preventing the spread of cancer in 100% of them. The researchers hope to launch clinical trials in 2024. Genia Dulo for VOA News, Los Angeles.
That's our show for today. For more health news, wellness tips, and medical breakthroughs, stay connected to Voice of America at voaafrica.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Linoch Mudu. Until next time, stay well and strive to make every day a healthy day.